Peace reflection.
Peace reflection.
So today we want to talk about why we live in a tent while we are in our tent. You want to show them what you're doing?
We're showing them the tent.
Really? Yeah, today we want to talk about why we live in a tent, because this isn't something that, we were programmed to do. We were programmed to sleep in a bed. But if you truly knew the truth about why you should not sleep in a bed and why you should be sleeping in a tent, you will want to go out right now after this download and get yourself a tent. And welcome everybody coming into the room. But yes, if you don't have a tent right now, you are like so far behind, because sleeping in a bed is so old-fashioned now. What you think, Rambo?
Yes, it's antiquated. We love sleeping in a tent. We've upgraded a lot of tents. We used to sleep in small tents, but now we've gotten these big tents, and like they're so amazing. So we always talking about tent life, right? Talking about getting people to sleep in a tent and just get closer to the earth, by sleeping in a tent. So the bed is so unhealthy for us, to really be sleeping in a bed all the time, and to be in that surface, because it's not really conducive to our body. It doesn't allow our spine to really be healthy and be straight, because of the way that the bed is constructed. The bed is not designed for humans to be sleeping on. Like, we're not meant to be sleeping on something that soft and that moldable. If you notice the ground, even though it's not like rock hard, but it is it does have some level of firmness to it. Whereas the beds, they're they don't allow your spine to rest in that position that's supposed to rest, in order to keep your spine aligned. And if your spine's not aligned, that's going to affect your organs, and it's going to affect the rest of your body, and it's just going to emanate outwards from that dysfunction within your body. So sleeping in a mattress, and then there's so many implications to sleeping in a mattress that we could talk about, because
it's a sponge, for one thing. It's a big sponge that you're sleeping on. And what is our bodies? Our bodies are made of 60 to 70% of water. So what does a sponge do to water? It soaks it up. So that's why every time you come back, you feel even more drained and you feel more tired, because you are actually depleting yourself of your own life force, of your own energy, by every night sleeping in that bed. And then we got covers on, and then we're also in an insulated environment that has artificial lighting and artificial air on top of sleeping on a sponge. And so that's why we feel so groggy. We don't have the energy to want to just get up and start our day. It's because we've already depleted ourselves,
Yeah, that's a fact. So the mattress is drying you out, so by the time you wake up, you're super dehydrated, and plus you're in a space that's not really allowing moisture from the environment to come in, because you're in an enclosed environment, usually inside a house, right? So and the air's not circulating, there's no moisture like it is out here, when you're outside and you're close to the environment. And depending where you're at, but most in the tropics, there's going to be pretty moist. There's going to be moisture in the air, so your cells are always going to be hydrated, no matter where you're at. So if you're sleeping in a tent and your windows are open, it's going to allow that moisture to come in, and it's going to moisturize your cells, and it's going to provide that hydration rather than dehydrating you in an environment where you would have a mattress, which would be like inside of a house or something like that. So, and it's like, depends where you're at, like if you're by the ocean, then you're gonna get more of that moisture, and you're gonna absorb more of that moisture while you're sleeping. Instead of getting dehydrated, you're gonna be getting hydrated while you're sleeping, because of the moisture that's coming in from your environment, and sleeping close to the trees and just close to nature in general is gonna provide your body more moisture and more hydration for it to function more optimally.
Yeah, and I can say the one thing that I love about sleeping in a tent is knowing that I am connected to the earth. I'm connected to that telluric energy, to to the earth, and what that does to the body, to the nervous system, it calms the nervous system. And that's why we always say that you need to stay grounded at all times. Do not wear any shoes, because the rubber of the shoes is an insulation. And that's just like with you being in a bed, it's an insulation. It's keeping you from being connected to that which you are, and that is the earth. That is, that's everything. And so when you are sleeping in a tent, like, now they do have some things that actually insulate you when you do sleep in a tent, but if you know the knowledge of self, you know not to have those things. All you need is like a couple of blankets and you are fine. And so for me, I love knowing that laying in a tent and sleeping in a tent is that I'm constantly staying connected. And just like you said, like, we are outside, and so we are receiving the energy from the moon. We're receiving the energy from the environment, from all the elements, because we are completely out here. We're not in a box like a house, that's keeping us from being connected. And I just know every time I come back into this realm, I just feel like more refreshed, more calm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. But I also wanted to say, in regards to what you were saying about the Earth's telluric energy, I want to kind of give a breakdown. So everything, we have an electromagnetic field right around us, and the reason we do is because our blood, inside of our blood and our hemoglobin, you have iron in the center of the cell, in the binding, in the cell. So the Earth, just the same, has iron in the center. So the Earth also has an electromagnetic field. Now in humans, the electromagnetic field could reach a couple feet, 10 feet. It depends, but the Earth as well has a field that emanates from the center core. So the further you are from the surface of the Earth, the less of that energy you're receiving. Okay. So that's why I like sleeping in this, like, say you were in a skyscraper and you like on the 5th floor or 6th floor or something like that. The further up, the more floors you go up, the less connected you're going to be to the Earth, and the less of that, the benefits you're going to receive from that. So we always want to strive to be at the closest to the ground level as we possibly can, Mm-hmm. So even 2 stories is already creating a barrier of disconnection between you and the Earth, and it's creating insulation from you and the telluric energy, the force, the electromagnetic field that's being generated by the Earth. So if you want to receive the benefits, sleeping in a tent is the best thing you could do, because you're literally sleeping on the ground. You don't have even a foundation for a house. Even if it's on the 1st story, it's still usually built up away from the ground, so it's a couple
Mm-hmm.
feet off the ground. But when you're sleeping in a tent, you're literally right there connected to the ground, and you're at receiving that energy to its highest potential. And this provides a lot of healing properties. And as far as, also being connected to the Earth and just being in tune with it,
Mm-hmm.
being in tune with the frequency of the Earth, because the Earth has its own frequency. And if you sleep close to the Earth, then you're close to that frequency, and you're able to, be in tune with it and be in tune with the rhythms, the biological rhythms of the Earth. And that's what should be in tune with your own body, your own biology. You have biological rhythms that occur between your body, right? So your organs are functioning on a clock. Everything in your body is functioning off a clock. So if you're connected to the Earth, you get in tune with that biological rhythm, and you're able to live in more harmony and health with your own body, because mm-hmm. it's tuned into that biological clock. That clock that we're all everything on Earth supposed to be tuned into, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're insulated from that, and that's why a lot of people have a lot of health issues. They have a lot of health problems because they're living a day-to-day life where they're insulated from that. Their shoes are insulating them. They got glasses insulating their eyes from the sunlight. They got a hat insulating their hair from receiving the electrical signals. They got too much clothing on, which is not letting the sun come in to their skin and generate vitamin D and all these hormones, steroidal hormones that the body needs in order to mm-hmm. function properly. So all of this insulation is creating, not healthy. It's not healthy for the organism. It's creating diseases and illness within the body, because it's not allowing the body to function properly and be in tune with what it really is. But the more you remove the insulation mm-hmm. and the closer you get to the Earth and its biological rhythms get in tune with it, the more your body's able to function the way it's supposed to function, and your organs are functioning the way it's supposed to function, and everything is in equilibrium and is functioning to its fullest capacity.
Yeah, and you had said something about like the frequency and connecting to the Earth's
mm-hmm.
frequency, but I also was thinking about like all of the life force that's out here. Like every night that we hear, like the crickets and like the little the creatures and the night animals. They are constantly making noise, but they're putting out a frequency, and it actually is calming to our nervous system. It's actually very calming, and if you are truly connected, you'll be able to hear it, and it will actually soothe you, and it actually you actually will understand what's actually going on outside. Because I know, like, when we come back into this realm, like, we hear like birds and animals, like we are so connected because we are right here. But when you said when you said the frequency, I was thinking about how the crickets or whatever the night bugs are, that they are like making a sound. And I know sometimes people, they have a hard time of sleeping like in the bed, and they have to like listen to nature sounds. So I think it's very interesting with us being in a tent, that's all we hear is nature sounds, and I get really good sleep, don't you?
Yeah, I do too. And the animals actually, they tell you when things are going on, you know, and like you know when the sun's up without even opening your eyes, just by the sounds that you hear, you know that the sun's already up, because animals are, you know, they're just going crazy communicating. The birds are chirping and everything, you know, it changes its rhythm almost. It changes what the animals are doing depending on the time of the day. You know, certain animals come out at certain times of the day and other animals come out at night, you know. Like around here we have, you know, a bunch of birds and they're always chirping, you know. Sometimes they wake us up a little early, you know, but it's all good, you know. We enjoy listening to those sounds. But also what that does for us, like epigenetically, it really triggers and it activates certain DNA within us, because certain genetics within us, because listening to that sound is programming us, is activating DNA within us, everything that you hear. And that's why being in Babylon is kind of detrimental to your health, because you're hearing a lot of unnatural sounds. You're hearing the sounds of engines, you know, you're hearing construction workers, you're hearing planes, you're hearing all types of things that are unnatural, that aren't on the frequency of the earth, and that's affecting your DNA too and your genetic expression. So when you listen to the birds and you listen to the animals and the different bugs and things in your environment, that's programming and activating DNA, ancient DNA within you, that's going to allow you to tap into, you know, being truly human, back to the frequency of the earth, and connecting back to that, rather than, you know, activating and mutating genes because you're listening to things that are unnatural, things that are never supposed to be in their environment, that are never supposed to be heard or created, you know. Creating
an imbalance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another reason why it's like very important to sleep in a tent, because a tent, all it really is a small, it's like a netting almost, like that covering over us. It's not, you can still feel all the elements, you can still hear all the sounds. It's not much, it's just like to protect you from rain, and that's about it, you know.
And the bugs.
And the bugs, the rain and the bugs, but you can still hear, smell, feel the breeze, everything. You can still connect to the elements, right? But so it's like a win-win, right? So we can, you know, maybe we don't want the bugs or we don't want the rain to keep it out, and so we still have some shelter, but at the same time we're connected to the elements, and we can still feel our environment around us, and it allows us to do that, just that, you know, so that we can be in tune with the earth and in harmony with the earth.
Yeah, and it's for your protection as well, because like we always compare ourselves to like the animals and like to be like them, but at the same time we don't have fur on our body, so we don't have like a defense mechanism to protect us. So that's the reason why you don't constantly see us outside, and some people say, oh, you should be living in trees, which doesn't make any sense. But I feel like the tent is a perfect balance that allows, you know, us to be a part of nature, and, you know, and still be able to protect us, because like I said, we don't have fur to protect us like the animals do, you know. And so I feel like the tent is a great balance. But, you know, you gotta get you a tent. Like right now, like we set our tent up to like be like a little home. Like, you want to show them like what it looks like? Okay.
So
he's gonna give you all a tour of the tent. And yeah, flip it over.
What do you flip it? Okay, so this is the door. This is where we come in through. You know, we have some of our stuff here.
Yeah.
And you know, we got ourselves some incense is going on right here. You know, just got a little mat, you know, just so won't get dirt everywhere, you know, just You can wipe your feet off. And we actually used to be close to the ocean, so we felt we had a very good breeze. Right now we have a fan, you know, because sometimes it gets really hot, so we use a fan. And we have these blankets, you know, so let me see if you can see. So it's like a little bed, you know, like a little, we just have blankets.
Pallet, yeah.
That's what we sleep on, you know. It's pretty simple. It's not too complex, but we do make it, you know, more comfortable so that we can enjoy it, you know.
And we have a solar light up there.
We have a solar light.
It's powered by the solar energy.
Yeah, so we put this out at night. We use it, you know, to see inside, and then when it runs out of battery, we just charge it in the sun. Easy as that. And it, you know, it's powered by the sun solely. So back here is like a little porch area, but it's not open right now. It's like the rain cover's on. Usually when the rain cover's off, you can see the sky, you can see all the palm trees above us, and then you can see the moon. Yeah. You can see all the stars, and it's just amazing. But right now, you know, it's been kind of raining, so we put the rain cover on, you know.
That's our view right there.
Yeah, so, you know, we're right under a bunch of trees. Got a little bench outside. We'll sit from time to time. You know, got the coconut trees. Let me see this view over here. Yep, got more coconut trees. So we're just like under a bunch of coconut trees. You get shading from the leaves, from the palms. But that's pretty much it. You know, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's tent life, you know. And you can get a tent. You can get a tent anywhere, and you can take it anywhere where there is land. But I highly recommend that you get a tent and you set it up. Even if you're in Babylon still, get you a tent. I'm sure you have some yard somewhere, and try it out. You will thank us later.
Oh, and that's the great thing about tents as well too, that well, we're kind of nomadic, so we travel a lot, and it's a great way to just take your shelter with you, you know, like it rolls up into a bag, and then you can just take it and set up somewhere else, so you don't gotta be dependent on like a house or something, a structure. You know, you can take it with you and be on the go, you know, if you're nomadic. It, you know, because for us, like, we never know where like our life takes us. We move around a lot, and it's so convenient for us because we take their tents with us everywhere, and we just set up home. Everywhere we go is where our home is at, you know. So we know how to make it feel like home. We're the ones that create the home for ourselves. It's not the place that we go to, but it's us that creates the home, you know. So we have that ability where we just take it with us anywhere we go, and it's a nice way to be nomadic, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes I hate, like sometimes we may have to sleep in a bed, and like we hate it. We're like, oh my gosh. But even when we can't sleep in a tent, like we'll sleep on the floor. Like we'll make a pallet and we'll sleep on the floor. Like we'll do the best that we can with what we have. But I highly recommend, like this is a recommendation, like, you know, get a tent. Like, get out of the bed, you know what I mean? Like, you know, create a balance for yourself, because in everything that we do, we want to create balance. That's what everything is in this existence, learning that true balance. And so when you start learning about divine knowledge of self, you know, you're going to start looking at things in a different way. But what I've learned through it, you know, is that you need to create balance in your life. And sometimes you're going to be, like, you know, a little off balance, but you always get back in tune, you know, with what you truly know, and that is the truth. And you want to close it up with anything?
Oh, yeah, well, I was going to say, like, you don't have to, you can make steps, you know, steps that you could take in order to, like, get to a tent. You might just get rid of your bed, your frame, you know, just sleep on the mattress on the floor. Yeah. And then from there, you could get rid of the mattress and just, you know, put out some sheets on the floor. And then eventually, you know, you kind of progress to the point where you don't need all that, and you just, you know, you get a tent and you're sleeping outside like we are. You know, this is regular to us. Like, now it's weird to sleep on a bed, you know. We're kind of backwards with the rest of the world, you know. But because we understand the technologies of the body and how things are supposed to go, and what's best and most conducive for ourselves, that we, you know, we reprogrammed ourselves to understand and know the truth, and so that we can, you know, embrace sleeping in a tent and know that a bed is not the most optimal. So when we do, like, have to sleep in a bed, or for whatever reason, like, it's not something regular for us, you know. Sleeping in the tent is what we want to do every night, you know. It's what we look forward to, going to our tent, you know, at the end of the night. Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for this download, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
All right. I love myself.